So I wanted to give a shout out to the future nurses in the house.
That's right.
Right there, a nurse to a podium. So I'm going to be talking about tying in how criminalization of unhoused peoples happens, which is a part of gentrification. So in the age of big data analytics comes the expansion of data-driven, evidence-based policing. Police essentially claiming that with the use of science, bias will be eliminated and policing will become more efficient and fair. This facade of a scientific and unbiased policing method, however, is just another tool to trace and track Black, brown, and poor people in order to contain, control, and criminalize them. With the move towards data gathering, storing, and sharing, we have the expansion of what we call the stalker state. And that's located right over there, and some folks have it in their hands. This is a national, state, and local interconnected web of information sharing. The stalker state is fed by and dependent on the architecture of surveillance, which is right over there, and some folks have a copy in their hand as well, which is comprised of many tools used to gather data. These multiple data pickup points include automatic license plate readers, closed-circuit television, Stingray devices, and body cameras, to name just a few. Data also includes, however, historic crime data, like reported crimes, citations, basic stops where field interview cards are filled out. So the question is, what is being done with all this data? Police claim that by funneling this data through various risk assessment tools and algorithms, they can predict who or where a crime will be committed before anything occurs, a setup that pathologizes and criminalizes people and communities. In LA, we have two predictive policing programs, Laser and Predpol. Operation Laser is a person-based predictive policing tactic that uses a risk assessment or point system to establish a list of people to trace and track. Predpol is a place-based predictive policing tactic that uses mathematical models to hotspot communities as criminal. When we look back at the data that is collected, it is very clear that this data is collected through the historic lens of targeted policing, like here in Skid Row, one of the most occupied and contained communities in the nation. Broken windows policing and programs like the Safer Cities Initiative, now known as RESET, places officers and surveillance technology in the heart of Skid Row, which is now being gentrified by new development projects. This community, therefore, is more present in the data that's collected. So, for example, Charlie Kuneng, also known as Charlie Africa, lived in Skid Row and was tragically confronted by 5 officers, gunned down, and died here on 6th and San Pedro. Mr. Kuneng had a known mental health condition. The police were aware of this. Not only is it important to realize that the police knew this, but we need to start to think about how that information was collected, stored, and shared by police, and for what purpose. As we see in LAPD's HOPE program, which claims to be an intervention program, but essentially is collecting data to track and trace those who are unhoused. Policing tactics continue to reinvent themselves as reformed, but the same communities remain impacted for the purpose of containment and social control. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, y'all.